what if I just figured something out about myself on your show?
I love it.
You're such a good host.
I'm taking this to my therapy this week. Today's guest is an incredible singer-songwriter. Please welcome to the Zoom, Jules Brave.
Hi!
Hello.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be talking to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Oh my gosh, thanks for reaching out. I'm so excited and I'm a fan of the podcast.
Well, I've been a fan of you for a very long time, and I always kind of start the conversation by talking about how we met or got connected.
Yeah.
I was like a huge super fan, like everyone is, of Natalie Weiss,
The
and I
queen.
would watch her videos for years and years and years before working up the courage to actually like doing a lesson with her. But you were always someone that I loved watching lessons of because one, you're so talented, but two, I saw so much of myself in you. And I think like watching her videos was so intimidating, but your honesty about how you felt about singing, it was like, okay, if she can do it, then I can do it too. So
Oh, it makes me so happy. I really appreciate that so much, and Natalie's the coolest person ever. I like pinch myself every day that I know her still. It's crazy.
she's so cool. I have done two lessons in person with her and a
Oh,
few on Zoom. And she's like actually she's the greatest.
the
She's the
greatest.
greatest.
Like she's just so funny and sweet and love.
Yeah. But even
Love.
like as a huge fan who'd been watching the videos forever, when I did a lesson with her, I was like, oh, it's that. She's that good. Like it really is
Oh my
that.
God, no, yeah, yeah, of course. The talent is just not to be believed. We also need to talk about Wicked. Like, we're gonna
Yes.
have to get there. I'm so sorry because I've
Yes.
seen it 6 times and it's like the best thing that's ever happened to me. So,
I've seen it three times. Six times? That's
six
incredible.
times, and like, I'm like in the theater taking notes. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, I'm like, look at the Easter eggs. Like, I'm
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, it's yeah. Okay, we'll get into all of that.
Yes.
Where are you from?
I'm from New Jersey, like northern New Jersey, basically like 10 minutes out of New York City. So I was very exposed to like New York City, Broadway, uh, you know, the pop music that was happening there at the time, kind of as a kid. So I was always living this like quasi like Gilmore Girls small town vibe, but then like New York City. It was very fun.
Wow, that is
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah.
So
Best
did
of
you
both
grow
worlds,
up?
Hannah Montana vibes.
Yeah, right. So you
Yeah.
grew up like going to a lot of theater and being exposed in the arts.
Yes, I was very lucky that way. My family, I think they were just trying to like not have to talk to me for a few hours, you know what I mean? Because like I'm a yapper. I'm definitely a yapper, always have been, and they probably like, Julia, sit down for a few hours and just like watch something, you know?
Yeah,
It's like how like, parents like give their kid the iPad like just to shut them up. Like they were just taking me to
your
Broadway.
iPad was a Broadway show.
Yeah, totally.
You
Totally.
remember the first one that you saw?
Yes, I think it was The Lion King.
Okay.
Which is so funny because years later, when I was living in New York City, this is a whole other thing, but I used to work the COVID lines, like to get into the Broadway shows. Like I would check everybody's vaccine cards. So I had to do that at the Lion King. I did it at Wicked. I did it at like Carolina Change. I did it at all like the Nederlander theaters,
Hmm.
and it was the best job ever. Like it was the most fun. I wore this like neon yellow jacket and like I would just meet all these people on the lines and like some people knew me from like the Natalie videos or like my music and they were like, hey, and like I would like take selfies with people and then like check their vaccine cards. Like it was crazy. It was
That is
really fun.
iconic. That's iconic.
It was really fun. But
So
yeah.
when you were watching these shows as a kid, did you have the thoughts of like, I need to do that? That will be me.
It's funny because I was exposed to a lot of Broadway, but at the time, my sister, who's 2 years older than me, her name's Heather, she's a queen, but she was like really pursuing theater. And so, me being like a rebel, like wanting to be different and unique, was like, I'm not gonna do Broadway. Like, like, I obviously like deep down would love these Broadway shows. Like, when we would go, but like I think I would put on a little bit of a front of like, yeah, like it's fine, but like I'm a pop girly, like that was always like my defense mechanism, to seem cool and different.
Mhm.
But yeah, so my sister was really like the theater queen, and so I didn't I wasn't really into theater that much, except, of course I have the occasional baby video, home video of me belting Wizard and I Defying Gravity, No Good Deed, like thank God because I posted it when Wicked came out, but like I was way more into like the Disney Channel, like
Mm.
Hannah Montana, like Vanessa Hudgens music, Ashley Tisdale, like all of like the Disney queens, Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez, of course, but like I was always like, oh, can I like sing and play these on the piano? Like that was more my journey. And like I would like listen to the Pulse and Radio Disney like with my dad because we would like always go to the diner in like the random town that I lived in like every Saturday morning, and I'd get grilled cheese and chocolate milk, and on the way I would like listen to Radio Disney and like John Mayer and like KT Tunstall. Suddenly I see like the most like adult contemporary music with like then
Uh-huh.
um the most like poppy, like campy Disney music, and like I feel like that informs so much of how I write today and like the styles that I gravitate to. And then my mom was always like playing like Whitney Houston and more like soulful music like Mariah Carey. So I had like all of this different amalgamation of music that I was always hearing, and then musical theater. And honestly, musical theater has really affected me and like the choices that I make and the inclinations I have musically still. But I don't think I wanted to see that at the time.
You're too cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was too cool. Too cool.
So when you were like watching Disney Channel, did you want to be a Disney star and do the Wand ID and the whole thing?
Yes, I mean for sure. I think deep down again, but I was always like, I want to be behind the scenes. Like I want to, because my
Oh,
sister was very like front facing. Like she definitely like wanted to be like an artist, and like, I mean, even like when I started doing the artisting and releasing music, like I never thought I was gonna do that. Like I was like
really?
always like I'm just gonna write for other people, and I'm gonna like, I would love to like write songs for TV shows. It was more that than like I want to be in them. But then when I started working with Natalie, I was always like, I'm just gonna do these lessons to like make my demos sound better. And then,
Wow.
yeah, that was like always what it was gonna be. And like I was gonna pitch the songs to other artists. But like at the time, I didn't really have means to pitch songs, and it's still so hard. Like even living in LA and like knowing more A&Rs and stuff, like it's just so hard. And so basically, we started posting those videos, and then people in the comments were like, wait, just like put out this song. Like, I love this song. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And then, like, I basically started doing the artist thing by accident.
Wow.
So it was always really cool. But I, I think I always ask myself, like, I really do think deep down I wanted that. But, like, I have anxiety too. And, like, I used to have the worst stage fright ever in the world. I still kind of do, but I've gotten over it. Like, especially doing backgrounds. Like, I love singing backgrounds more than anything. I think it's like the most fun ever. And like when I write songs, I love arranging backgrounds. Oh, it just like sets me on fire. It's my favorite thing ever, besides writing songs. And yeah, so I've been able to get over it for that, but like I've always had horrible stage fright. So I'm like, in theory, it would be fun to be like Hannah Montana, but like I don't think I am.
Hmm. Were there specific songs that made you want to write?
Love. I mean, yeah, I think like I used to love like Jesse McCartney, like Beautiful Soul, like that song, like Right Where You Want Me. The songs like that I saw like in Halloween Town, or like there was that song like Say Okay by Vanessa Hudgens. I don't know why I love that song so much. I did. And the song like Baby Come Back, like that song. And then like all of the Hannah Montana, like This Is the Life. And then like the Hannah Montana movie, like the one Always Find Your Way Back Home, which was literally written by Taylor Swift, and I only found that out like years later. And then also like John Mayer was always a huge inspiration to me. He's still my number one. Like I know every single one of his songs backwards and forwards. I think his lyrics are like criminally underrated, and I just think he's like the best musician ever. all of the singers too. Like I always wanted to write like super like riffy, cool like pentatonic-y melodies, like like Ariana Grande, of course, and like Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, like Beyonce, like Beyonce's self-titled album, like changed my life. Like just I'm just such a fan of music. I'm sure you can tell, but like I'm the biggest fangirl ever.
It's so beautiful, and it's what a gift that this is what you're pursuing and it's what you love so much.
Thank you. I have the most fun every single day of my life. Like I am the luckiest person ever in the world. Like I can start crying.
Did you always know you were going to pursue it?
I did. I did. I mean, I was so lucky I had such a supportive family. I still do. They're the most supportive ever. But I always knew like in some way. I thought maybe for a while it would be more on the business side, like I would be an A&R or whatever, and then I went to college at NYU for like music business, but like I was literally failing because I was having to take like accounting and like business. Like I had to like take classes in the Stern Business School for music business. I was like, I didn't think this through, Queen. Like, no, this isn't working. So then I had to like I ended up transferring to Berkeley online, but staying in New York because I loved like my New York friends and my mom lives in New York and like all these things. And I don't think I was ready to like, I was always like very like, I'm like a homey queen, like a homebody a little. And like, I loved being near like my parents and stuff like that. Now it's so funny because I live like 3,000 miles away and I would like go to foreign countries by myself. I don't know how that happened, but it did. But yeah, I was like, I'm gonna stay in New York, but I'm gonna like do more conservatory type like music. Like I was not meant to be a music business queen. I'm meant to like do real music, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, the creative side. Um,
Yeah.
when you say go to foreign countries, like to for what?
I just went to London for fun, like by myself.
Uh-huh.
And I've always wanted to. And
Right?
I actually made wait to write. No, I actually made a concerted effort. I was like, I want to go like just for me. Like I was like, I don't want to write. I just want to go and like be a tourist. And then I saw the Eras tour for the third time. And like I was just like, I'm gonna go and just like enjoy because I think that, obviously I write like so much. Like I write like at least 5 songs a week.
Wow. Full songs?
Uh, what?
Full songs?
Yeah, full songs, five a week
By
at least
yourself or in sessions?
in session. So it's very collaborative and amazing. So it's like obviously like other people are helping, so it's not like I'm like dying of exhaustion every day, but um I make a really big effort in my life too to like have things that have nothing to do with music. Like that's really important to me. So like I need to like have hobbies. Like I have a book club. I have like I watch a lot of football. I watch a lot of TV that's like has nothing to do with music. Like it's really important for me to like have a really full life outside of what I do, or else then I just feel like there's not enough inspiration, and also like I never want to feel like burnt out. Like I always want to feel like excited to wake up every day and do music, and I do because I have such a full life outside of music and like with my friends and all this stuff. And when I moved to LA, I was like, I'm putting my head down. I don't care if I have friends, like blah blah blah. Like it's only about the music. That's why I'm moving here. And then my life ended up fuller than it's ever been, even in New York or New Jersey. Like I have the most full, exciting life because it has, a lot of it that doesn't even have to do with music. So it's good.
Oh, that is so beautiful. And I feel like most artists are on that journey to get there, but I don't talk to many people who feel that they have that. So that's really
Mhm.
inspiring. It's so funny that you mentioned going to London alone because not even 48 hours ago, I was in a session. I was researching something and I don't even remember who the artist was. Their label paid for it, but like they did a trip somewhere solo to write their album. And I was like, I want to do a solo trip to
Yeah.
write. And
Yeah.
so I've been talking to my mom about it, but it's funny that you bring that up because that's like on my list of things to start looking
No,
at.
you definitely should. And like I definitely want to do that also. Like I do a lot of solo trips to Nashville actually. to write there, and I love writing there, and I'm like so in my country era, it's not even funny. Like, oh my God, doing a solo trip and writing in London would be incredible. That's like definitely on my list. And like I was like partly scoping it out the first time to be like, okay, now that I got all the touristy stuff like done, like I want to just come back and like, write
Yeah.
the entire time. Yeah.
How would you describe yourself as like a teenager?
Ooh, as a teenager, I was very like type A, I think, like when it came to the music. Like I'm still the same way where it's like if I like something, I'm really good at working hard at it. If I don't, I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
Like I was not great in school. Like complete I was so good. Like I got like A's and B's and like one C in math. I'm terrible at math. But like I was never like AP everything. Like, my sister's like an Ivy League queen. Like, she went to Columbia. She's a lawyer now. I'm like, we were built different with peace and love. Like, love you. Um, no, but I was always like, I was in every music club. I was in every like show, either in the show or playing in the pit. Like, I was like so into everything I could get my hands on with the music. I also loved, I partied a lot in high school. I'm gonna be honest. Like I did. Like I loved, I've always been like a social person, like very extroverted. Like I love like meeting random people. Like that's like my favorite activity. Like going to random parties in LA now and just like meeting random people and being like, oh my God, join my book club. And then like they'll show up to my book club and then like be my friend. Like that's like my favorite thing. And that's always rang kind of true. I just love meeting people. What else? I was super I trying to think, high school. Was very into the music, very into socializing, not great in school. I was like always taking music lessons outside of school. Oh, I did like School of Rock for years. Like when I was like 10 to like 16, I would like go every Saturday and like be in my rocker era and like play bass and sing like random songs by the Police. And like it actually exposed me to so many different genres of music. Like I was learning like classic rock and funk and like you know, like the Beatles and like I was really getting immersed in so much different kind of music. And then I did a lot of like songwriting programs and stuff like that. I was very into like every like program, summer camp thing that I can do to like be in music. Like I wanted to learn everything about it. Like I knew a lot about even like the business side of music going into college. Like I was really into how it all works from a really young age, but I was always very social and very loud. That has not changed.
Was there a program that really changed the course of your career or life?
Yeah, for sure. I did Grammy camp, which I loved. I actually went for music journalism. Like I was always like trying to put my feet in different
Yeah,
different things.
great.
But it's funny because like there are people there that like now live in LA that I know. Like it's just funny from that. And then I also did a music business program at NYU like the summer before I applied there, and it was like a lot of my friends that ended up going for college with me. And that's where I really started getting into writing because I wasn't always like doing writing like as my main thing. I've written songs since I was 8 years old, but it was very like I would write like one song a year type thing. It wasn't like I was writing songs every day because I was very into performing and covering songs and learning different instruments. But then when I was like in high school, like in the later years, is when I really started getting into writing. And so I definitely could feel that shift happen, like towards the later programs I did. I did this program called SoCapa, which is like School of Creative and Performing Arts, I think. And I did a songwriting program there. And like now, like I met one of the collaborators I just did a writing camp with there. And like, so it's been super full circle and like meeting people over and over and working with them, and just it's funny because like how many people that live on the other side of the country now know you when you're you know 14 years old. It's like so funny. So
Yeah. Is LA what you were expecting?
ooh. It's better, to be honest. I mean, I was nervous because everybody says like LA, like everybody's fake and, contrived and influencery and blah blah blah. And like, yes, but also like I'm from New York. Like, it's like I'm from a big city. I think it's a lot of people from like small towns that like say that and start that stereotype because I'm from New York. Like I know how to handle people, you know? A
And
little
it's
bit.
about finding your people. Like there's going to be all person types
Exactly.
everywhere. Yeah.
I got so lucky. Like I almost immediately met like really great people because I actually ended up moving here because I met this producer on Instagram Live because I went on this songwriter named Jake Cash's Instagram Live and like played a song that I wrote and then he was super nice, the guy Jake Cash, and was very supportive. And then somebody was in the comments and was like, "Oh my gosh, like we have to work together." And he ended up DMing me and we started working together virtually and he lived
Wow.
here and we just totally hit it off and he was like, "You have to move like or at least take a few trips." And I was like, all right. So I did a few trips and worked with him, and we still work together. And I literally love him. His name's Tony. He's an icon. Tony Gontos, an amazing producer. He goes under the Moon Tones, very iconic. And yeah, we still work together. And he got me out here and kind of introduced me to his community of people.
Wow.
And then like I ended up moving here with one of my best friends, Josh Colley, who's an amazing actor. He grew up on Broadway and we met because he used to like know me from the Natalie videos. And then we
Oh,
just started following each other and FaceTiming and like watching random Netflix shows during COVID, like until 4 in the morning. Is It Cake was our favorite, and I'm still watching the holiday version. It's incredible. And then yeah, and then he was like, "We have to move to LA together." And I was like, really?" And he was like, "Yeah." And so we lived in a house together for like almost a year or like 6 months because then the house ended up like the pool was leaking and like the water bill was crazy. So we were like, okay, with peace and love, I'm moving out. And then his family moved, and so he's now with his family and it's great and we see each other like all the time. I live alone now. And like the second bedroom is my studio where I'm sitting right now and it's amazing.
oh,
But yeah, it's really fun and it's like very rainbow. But yeah, so I moved out here with Josh and then like we ended up going to this party of this like really crazy YouTuber that I used to watch and still watch. And then I met my other best friend, Anthony Gargiula there, who like is an amazing singer-songwriter and he's really big on like TikTok and Instagram and sings in the kitchen with Jonathan and then I started working with Jonathan. So it's like and just being friends with everyone. And so I got very lucky, and they're just like the most down to earth, hard-working people. Like I learned so much about also like how much work it takes to really make content like that like all the time and like it is its own art form and I have so much respect for it too. So that's a whole other tangent, but
well,
yeah.
good people attract good people. So I'm not
Oh,
surprised that you have such like a supportive, wonderful community.
thanks.
Do you remember the first song that you heard that put a feeling into words that you didn't know, like how to express?
Ooh. Honestly, this just came to me. So I'm gonna say it because that's probably the truth. But like Gravity by Sarah Bareilles, I remember being like, oh, I
Hmm.
remember being like, oh, that's what writing a song is. Like, saying or singing what can't be said,
Hmm.
simply, And I was just like, the way that the melody made the lyrics mean even more was like so special to me. And like mostly brought into rooms at this point to write lyrics. Like that's kind of like my thing, which is so funny because it wasn't always my thing, but an executive years ago told me my lyrics weren't strong.
Hmm.
And so then I kind of like overcorrected and now I'm like now I'm like like way more of a lyric girly. It's like so funny, but um just I'm so cognizant now of like what a melody does for a lyric. Like, and that song specifically was like, oh, I feel like they must have came together.
Mm.
They must have been written at the same time. You know what I mean? Like the melody and the lyric were just so like one thing to me that I was just like, oh, this is what writing an amazing song is.
Yeah, yeah. Who are your dream artists to write for now?
Oh, I mean, I'm really in my country era, which is really funny because I never thought I would be, but I'm just such like a big wordplay person and like I love a punchline and that's just so prevalent in country. I definitely would love to write for Miley Cyrus. Like that's my dream because I mean, it's funny, like I've written for David Archuleta, who's incredible, and I love the feeling that like I used to watch him on American Idol when I was 9, and like now we're really great friends,
That's crazy.
and like we write together. Like I love, like I want to have that feeling again of like I used to watch Hannah Montana, and like now I'm writing for Miley Cyrus. Like putting that out there
Yes,
for 10 years from now, like I'm not saying
sooner.
tomorrow,
And
but
we'll
like.
post this again when you get your cat.
Yes, I hope so. No, but like her would be awesome. Um, I love like Kelsey Ballerini. I'd love to do like Maren Morris. I also love Muna. They're like, I don't know if you know them, but like they're the best band. They're like very like 80s inspired, but like kind of like indie pop, amazing, cool. I love Gracie Abrams. Like that would be a dream. Who else? I mean, I've written for Lauren Spencer Smith, but I just love her project so much and I love her and I would
So
just love to
good.
write more for her. She's incredible.
When you say write for someone, there's a team, right? Or is it just you?
Yes, so I work with like I would work with the artist and another writer or a producer or like sometimes it's like a 3 or 4 person room. I've worked in 5 a few times, which is really fun, but that's not as common. Yeah, it's usually 3 or 4 people, and it's funny. I met one of my favorite collaborators. His name is Thomas Daniel, and he's just like the most talented person ever. Like literally, I just know he's gonna be like winning heaps and heaps of Grammys one day, like soon. Like he's just incredible. And him and I wrote a song together with my friend Ryan and Brett called Feel Good like almost 2 years ago now, and that's how we met. And then he ended up bringing me in to write with Lauren like in August, and then the song came out in November. It was pretty fast turnaround for especially like a major label release. It was pretty fast. And yeah, so it's just funny. Like you never know when you write with someone years ago when they're gonna call you to come in and work again, or if they are or when they are. So I was super happy that he thought of me for that. And then we ended up doing the vocal in the studio, which I was super excited because I was like engineering it. And so that was pretty cool for me because I'm still getting into engineering slowly but surely. But that's another goal of mine. So that was super cool. But yeah, it's usually like a team of people. I do write one-on-one with artists. Like I write one-on-one with Josh Colley, and I'm super excited for his music to come out. That's gonna be life-changing. Like, oh, he's just the best and so talented at literally everything he does. No, but I mostly write in 3s or 4s, I think.
Hmm. Is there a lyric that you're proudest of contributing to a song?
Ooh, ooh, that's a really good question. Um, hmm. It's like there is, but I can't really say. I'm trying to think of ones that have been released that I can say. Um, Let me think. Let me think. That's such a good question. There's a song called Silver Lining that I wrote with my friends Katie and Ryan. Katie's artist name is Blue Eyes, Blueyes, with like the thing where it's the 2 dots over the U. I don't know what that means. I don't know like the name for that. But basically we were at a writing camp in Lake Tahoe a few months ago, and they are both amazing at writing like really sad ballads, like incredible at it. And they really wanted to write a duet. And I was kind of like, okay, we could do that. We know that's the predictable thing for you guys to do a really sad ballad. But like, I was so happy that week from that writing camp. It was called Camp Icon, and it was just like I literally brought balloon animals. Like we were all making, I was teaching everyone how to make balloon animal dogs. We were stargazing, we were hiking. They got me to hike. I
Oh.
don't know how. And we had the time of our lives. We were writing, I was writing like in like so many songs. Like it was so much fun. And I was like, I'm just not in the mood to write something sad. Like my friend Ryan was going through a tough time, and I was like, okay, how can we acknowledge that you're going through a hard time, but also that like, you know, if you've made it to this rock bottom, like it's only up from here now. You know what I mean? Like let's look up. Let's be like, okay, I could get through a really dark time because I am. Now let's be like, let's start to find a silver lining here. And so we wrote this song called Silver Lining, and it's one of my favorite songs I've been a part of. And it was so cool because then it ended up being the name of the tour that we went on this summer. It was the Silver Lining tour, and Ryan opened for Katie. And it was just like we had the most fun on tour. And it was just such a cool moment for me as a writer to be like, I'm so glad that I came in that day and I was like, let's write about some sort of silver lining that comes out of this. And then it became the name of the tour. Like, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And like, another thing, like, I used to watch Katie's videos, like, so much when I lived in New York. And I was like, this girl is incredible. Like, I'm obsessed with her. Like, I've ended up writing for people that I've been like such big fans of. It's the weirdest thing. And like, to be honest, I've had to like go into my Instagram DMs and like delete weird DMs that I've sent to these people because then I have sessions with them. And I'm like,
Like what?
Julia,
Expose
like,
yourself.
like I should not have sent those DMs. Like I cannot. But like, how would I know at the time that like I was gonna end up working with them? Like there's no way
No,
for me to
I
know
think it's
that.
sweet. Unless it's like super, I don't doubt it's
No,
super weird.
it wasn't super weird, but like there's definitely like I would be like replying to like a million stories and then meeting them and like I'm never the person that like pretends not to know someone. Like that's not my tea. But you know, it's a weird line to toe, I'm not
It
gonna
really
lie.
is. No, it really
It's
is. And I
really
also
weird.
always like try to be like upfront, like, oh, follow you or have seen you or whatever. But sometimes it really is an awkward, you don't really know how to, yeah, it's a tough kind of line to walk.
100%. And like I get how people sometimes are like weird. I don't know. It's like people are like, "Are you a fan? Are you a friend?" And I'm like, "Can I be both?
Yeah.
Like, what's the problem?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And also like it's so funny. Like people ask me who I listen to, and it's like half of what I listen to is just like my friends. Like I have a friend Savannah Scrow who's like an incredible writer. We write together all the time, and it's like she'll put out a song on Friday, and like on Saturday I'll know all the words, and she'll be like, "What?"
Oh
And I'll be like, "Queen, like I'm a fan. Like don't forget, you know."
my gosh, you're the best. It's like
Oh
such
my
a
God,
good energy.
you're so nice.
So the writing, how did you get like into the writing camps? Is that just like a people that you know, or those there are things that you can seek out?
So a lot of the camps just happen to be friends of mine that I work with that are like, I think it would be fun to get a bunch of our artist friends together, writer friends together, and like do a camp. Or it's people that are like, I really like working with you and I'm trying to finish out this project. Or, I'm trying to start a project and I'd love it for you to be a big part of it, blah, blah, blah. So it's very situational based on like what the need is or what the desire is of like, oh, I'm just trying to have fun and like we should invite a bunch of people, or I'm trying to like actually like get complete something. But it's been mostly like just knowing the artist directly. Like some people like my biggest goal right now is like I'm working towards hopefully having a publishing deal, and like some of like sometimes publishers will like have a camp and bring you in for that, but like for me so far it's all been like the artists or the writers or the producers that are like, I'm bringing you into this, rather than like an A&R. But well, actually I shouldn't say that because I did a camp where an A&R has brought me into it and it was super fun and awesome, but like it's mostly the artists that I know are like through word of mouth. They're
Yeah.
friends with another artist and then have me come, that type of thing.
If you could pick one song from this year that was the best song that you heard, what would it be?
Ooh. Okay, there's this song called Champagne and Sushi, and it's by this songwriter named Emily Wiseman, and I've always looked up to her so much. She's a huge songwriter, especially in Nashville. She writes like a ton of the country songs, but she also has an artist project that I've been a huge fan of for years, and she unfortunately had a miscarriage, and she wrote this song about like it's called Champagne and Sushi, and it's basically like the only silver linings of this now is that I can have champagne and sushi.
Wow.
And
Oh, chill.
it's the most incredible song I've ever heard. And like she basically wrote it and she told this story on her Instagram and stuff, but she was like, I had this song sitting on my hard drive and I played it for a friend of mine. And the friend was like, this could either sit on a hard drive or you could release it and help a bunch of people. And it's like become this anthem for people that have unfortunately had to go through that. And I just think that like that's like the most special kind of healing and um like just feeling seen by a song that you could bring to people by writing something like that.
Yeah.
So that song is incredible. That's definitely my favorite this year.
Can't wait to check it out. That sounds like really powerful.
Yeah.
What is your why as an artist?
Oh,
Creative.
I love these questions. You're so amazing.
Thank you.
Um, I love working with artists and like helping them zoom in on what they want to bring to the world, whether that be to make people feel seen by something and not alone, or to bring more joy into the world, or, to talk about subjects that aren't spoken about. For me, that's like really important. And I just love being able to get to like the deepest part of what this person is feeling. It's like usually if I'm like giving therapy to an artist to try to write for them, it's like it's the thing that they say under their breath or like the thing that they say like the quietest that's like the most universal, relatable, important thing that they say the entire time. And it's like those like under your breath things that like I want to like make really loud in the world. So that's like really important to me. And then for myself writing, like to put out my own artist, I still have a lot to say just as an artist and um I've done the artist thing a little less in the past few years just because I've been so focused on writing with and for other artists and it's been incredible, but like I still feel like I have a point of view that I really want to get out there and I want to make people feel seen in the ways that I haven't felt seen. Like, I'm a really I feel like I'm a specific type of person. I'm not for everybody. I'm very loud. You know, I occupy a bigger body. I've been through things and I put on a brave face a lot of the time. And I think that it's important to acknowledge those parts of myself in a real way and still like even just doing the artist thing for me helps me be a better writer for other people too, because it's like I have to exercise the same honesty in myself that I'm demanding from others. So it's really important for me to keep doing both.
What are habits that you have outside of writing that help you access that honesty?
Mm. I'm big, this might sound silly, but I'm big into like sitting in my bed without my phone and putting on my galaxy light and staring at the ceiling and just thinking. I think that like the best tool for creativity is boredom. And I
Yeah,
think that like
silence.
you really have to shut out, especially like, trust me, I could be on TikTok all day long looking at wicked conspiracy theories, Gilmore Girls. I keep getting the freaking TikTok shop videos for mouth tape to get you a snatched jawline. I could be looking at that all day. But for me, it's really important to like be by myself. I'm really good at being by myself. Like, for as extroverted as I am, I love being with myself. I don't mind my own company. And I think that, like, because of the work I do in therapy, I know how to, like, sit with myself and really, like, talk to myself in my head and stare at the ceiling and just think and, like, reflect. And that's, like, when a lot of my concepts come. And, like, I'm so concept driven when I go to my sessions and, like, I'm always like, what if we wrote a song about this or with this wordplay or like blah blah blah. Like that's kind of like what I want my superpower to be for the most part. And so I'm big on that. And then also like having conversations with people, not to be like, ooh, I wonder what they could say to give me a song idea. It's not like I'm like fishing for it, but I think just having compassion and learning how to be a good listener.
Mm.
Like when you're in a session with someone and they're, sometimes they talk for like 2.5 hours. Sometimes they really have to get things off their ch chest, and like you can't just like tune out, for as much as I yap, I have to meet my yapping with listening. Like I really do. Like it's the most important thing about being a songwriter is being a good listener. And so I really try to exercise being a good listener in my life. I mean, not only for writing songs, just like also not being an asshole, you know what I mean? Like being a good person. Um, Listening, leaving space for other people to yap because if I don't, we'll be here for 3 hours. You know what I mean? It's really important.
Totally.
Yeah.
Is there any topic that is really difficult for you to write about or like off limits?
Mm. Well, I've written I've written about the body stuff with people a lot. But for some reason, it's hard for me to write about my body by myself because I find whenever I get too honest about it, I kind of cringe.
Hmm.
And so I've had to it's really easy to think about it in the lens of someone else, but in the lens of myself, I'm still trying to break that barrier because I would love to write about it as an artist for myself, like to release as me. But like it's almost too hard still. So that's definitely one. I've written about like my family before, and just like certain things that I've gone through with them. I mean, I love them, it's all good, but like, everyone has their hard moments with their families, and so I've written about it, and it's really hard. It's hard to write really honestly sometimes about things you've gone through without hurting people. Like
Mm.
it's kind of like writing a book about your life where like you change the names sometimes, but everybody knows who you're talking about. You know what I
Totally.
mean? And it's like, if you're writing about your mom and dad, it's your mom and dad. You know what I mean? Like you don't you could change the name or whatever, but it's still your mom and your dad. Um, so it's kind of like that. It's like you do at some point have to think about collateral damage sometimes when putting out music and like who you're talking about and how they're gonna feel. So as an artist, like you get a lot more brave when you're a songwriter because you're not the one delivering the message. You're just the one that gets to write it, and then you order your McDonald's, you help vocal produce the song, and then you go home and then you do it again the next day with someone else and write another song. But the artist has a really difficult job of having to like stand behind the message that
Face of it.
you're helping create and craft. So I think as an artist, it's really hard to promote things without feeling exploitative. Like, like some of my friends write about like, and I've written with them about it, but like sometimes they'll write about like, people dying like in their families or whatever, and then like you're making videos about it, and it's like, ooh, like it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it feels kind of icky. It's like, how do you make it not feel exploitative and like you're like marketing on trauma? Like it's a difficult line because you want your song to be helpful, not just like explicit for the sake of it.
Totally.
Yeah.
how do you know when you're writing if it's going in a direction you don't want it to go in?
I think it's a feeling in your gut of like, is this necessary for the story? Is this is this triggering? Sometimes you have to be like, is this is this is this line in general just triggering? Because like I don't want to listen to a song that's like I want to find solace in a song, even if it's sad. I don't want it to be triggering.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's very much a asking myself line by line, like, is this comforting because I relate to it, or is it like uncomfortable?
Mm. What happens when you're in a session and you really, really don't agree with the direction the lyrics are going in or anything? Like, how do you kind of maintain your integrity? Because if your name is a part of it, you want to be proud of it.
Right. It's hard. You can make your feeling known, but like sometimes if you're in a room of three, majority rules. That's like a big part of it.
At the end of the day, I assume the artist, like,
Exactly. Like I always have this acronym. It's called WTAW, and it's what the artist wants. And at the end of the day, it's a service industry. Like you're there to service what the artist wants. You're doing customer service. You're there as a vessel for their message, and you have to kind of follow their lead. But if it's getting to somewhere that I feel like sacrifices my integrity, then, I've had sessions before where I'm like, okay, maybe this is okay, right? Like maybe these lyrics are okay, like it's not anything too much or uncomfortable, and then I'll like sleep on it and I'll listen to it the next morning and I'll be like, like I think we should edit this a little bit. So like I've had that happen. And then like you could say like and then like I'll ask like a trusted friend and be like, is this okay? And they'll be like, yeah, Julia, like you're overreacting. Or they'll be like, okay, I kind of see what you're saying. And then if they see what I'm saying, then I definitely bring it to the attention of the artist. And I'm like, listen, I know it's not my thing at the end of the day, but like, these are my feelings. Like, as long as I make my feelings known,
Mm.
then it's like kind of off my conscience in a way because it's like at the end of the day, it's not my choice. But I need to at least make my feelings known.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Totally. If your 13-year-old self could see you now, what do you think she'd say?
Oh, I always think about this. I think she'd be super happy and excited. I think she wouldn't know. I think she'd be shocked that like I moved to LA and like I basically left my whole what I knew and my life behind in New York and New Jersey. I was so nervous to like go on an airplane like with my family, much less like flying all over the place like alone and meeting random people. Like the fact that like I basically show up to people's houses that I've never met like every single day and
Yeah.
just like you have to go in and like basically like date all these people. I wouldn't know what real dating is. That's a whole other thing. But like basically what people say, they're like, Julia, you basically date already. Like you're
Mm.
going to random people's houses or studios, you're meeting them, talking to them, and then you have to create something from nothing with them every day.
And be
So like
vulnerable. Yeah.
and be vulnerable. And it's just like I would just be so in I think I'd be like, oh my God, that's so cool that you've been able to manage your anxiety and your nerves and your other mental health things enough to be able to do that and show up and do that on a consistent basis. And I think that the business side of it is really hard. Like the publishing deal thing takes a long time. The money takes a long time. So I have a lot of grace for that right now. I hope she would have as much grace for that. But I think just the actual actions of doing it would really impress her, I hope.
Hmm.
So yeah,
That's really beautiful.
thanks.
What are your 2025 goals or
Oh, love.
aspirations?
It's so funny because I'm like a huge New Year's person. Like I make a list every year. Like, yeah, I'm about to start my list. I'm so excited. This has been on my mind for sure. I mean, I know that now it's like really cool to be like acknowledging that like I'm still in my building phase, like with the music. I'm still like a beginner. Like that's how I feel. Like I'm still a beginner and I've done a lot being a beginner that I'm really proud of, but it's like I'm just so excited to like look back in a year from now and be like, "Oh my God." Because I look back now in a year from now, like a year ago and be like, "Oh my God, like I don't remember like who that is." And I love that feeling. So I had my first major label cut this year with Lauren, and it was so
Congratulations.
rewarding and cool. Thank you so much. And like, it was my first New Music Friday, and like, that's always been a huge goal of mine. And I was like, so excited. So I would love to do like more major label stuff. Like, just writing on that scale is really fun. Um, and like, there's just more resources and support that can go into the song that it's like, oh my gosh, it's just so cool because like
Yeah.
more people get to hear it sometimes. So that's awesome. And then I want to do more writing camps because I love writing camps. I think I do some of my best work in a camp environment because it's like the stakes are a bit higher because you're like I'm literally like here to write songs. Like I packed shit, I got on a flight or I drove a
Yeah.
million hours like, like let's kick it into high gear. Um, and then I really want to pursue the publishing deal thing more. Like, I've had a few meetings and it's great, but it's like these A&Rs watch you for a really long time and it just takes a long time. So, I would love for it to be next year. If not, hopefully the next year. I just want it so bad. It's not a secret. I tell all my friends, I'm like, I'm so desperate for this. Like, I just want it so bad, and I'm not afraid to say that.
Oh, yeah.
So that for sure. And then I definitely want to do more background vocals. Like I love doing backgrounds so much. I did like Tiny Desk a few years ago now, or like in 2023, I think.
With who?
Um, with Dodie.
Cool.
Yeah, it was literally Dodie's incredible. Like I love her music and it was just so crazy. Like again, like years ago, I went to see Lizzie McAlpine open for Dodie. And then,
Oh,
like I got to see Dodie live and I was like, she's awesome. And then like literally like a year later, I was like singing with her and Tiny Desk. I
so
was like,
cool.
what's going on? Like this is crazy.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And Tiny Desk was the most scary thing I've ever done in my entire life. I literally slept for 45 minutes the night before. I was a nervous wreck, but then like it ended up going great and I was just like, I want to do this every day. That's how my stage fright works. But I want to do that so bad. And then like I guess on a personal level and just like other fun things, like I really want to do a stand-up routine somewhere. Like I just think that would be so fun. Sorry, this is a lot of answers because I really
No,
have this.
yeah.
Um, I want to I want to really get more into cooking because I'm really trying to be in my grocery era instead of like ordering Uber Eats for every meal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm really trying to like I just like can never think of what to make for dinner. Like that's my thing that I have to work on. Like obviously I like save every TikTok video and I'm like I'm gonna make that and then like I don't make it. So like I really need to work on that. Um and then I want to take more hip hop classes. I love taking hip hop. Like it's so much
Where do you
fun.
go?
I went to this place Playground.
Yeah, yeah. I danced there and like at Millennium and um
Oh my gosh, you're so
yeah.
cool for
But
that.
who did you take from? Oh wait, Kelly? Did I see that video?
Yes.
Yeah, I've known Kelly for like 7 years.
No
Yeah,
way.
she's the greatest.
Oh my gosh, she was so nice. I went with a bunch of people. I went with Lauren and
Yeah, I saw that video.
yeah, like it was so funny. And like we were all like all of these 11-year-olds were like kicking
I know.
classes.
They're
We were
so
like, "Oh my gosh." Like it was so funny, but honestly, like I sweat so much in the class. I was like, "This is such a good workout for me."
yes, totally. Yeah, and Kelly's the best. Oh, that's awesome.
But she was so nice. Like she was so understanding with us, like not being good. Like it was really funny. But I shouldn't say that. They were much better than me, but whatever.
Fun.
Um
You keep going. They're fun.
yeah, it was really fun. So I want to do that, and then I thought I was gonna read like a million books this year because I have my book club and I love it, but next year I really need to read more. Like I'm reading Wicked right now.
Cool.
I'm really in my Wicked era if you can't tell. This is my Alphaba Stanley.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like we went for it. Like the fact that the second movie is called For Good, like I'm just gonna sob. Like I just know it. Did you like cry so much or no?
When I saw the movie for the first time, when it ended, I couldn't even speak. Like just that Defying Gravity scene, like full body just changes you as a person. Like it's so good.
When I saw it for the first time, like first of all, my sister flew in from Miami to see it with me. Like we're like really big into Wicked. Like
Uh,
it's it's not even funny. When she landed, like we were just so excited that like we couldn't talk to each other. Like it was like awkward almost. Like it was just like we didn't even know what to say. And then once the movie started, I just immediately started sobbing. Immediately. And like I'm on a lot of Lexapro. Like it's hard for me to cry, okay? And I was like bawling. And like I could bawl thinking about it, but just hearing the overture and just seeing
yeah.
the monkey flying and like all of it, just like during No One Mourns the Wicked, like I was just sobbing. I was like, I just can't believe this is happening. Like this is a movie. Like you know what I mean? Like
Like
it
it
is
was,
so good. And then
yeah.
like all of the group numbers, I was just sobbing. Like one short day, sobbing.
That's funny.
So funny.
Um, what do you want your legacy to be?
I mean, I think I care the most about like how I make people feel. Like either on a personal level or with the music. I just think that like I always want to be kind and like make people feel seen and heard is like really important for me. Um, and just I I want to be like humble and show that like this isn't easy. Like putting yourself out there and being creative and meeting new people every day and creating air with them, like that's not easy. And like I think it's easy to glamorize like when songs do really well and when you have hits. I mean, I don't have hits, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you write like, 160 or more songs a year or 200, 300 songs, like maybe 12 of them or 15 if you're lucky or 20 if you're really lucky will be really, really, really good. Like it's really hard. It's really hard. And so I want to be like making things that really help people and affect people, but I also want the general public and also songwriters to know that like it's okay if you don't hit it out of the park every day. Like you're not supposed to. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And I really believe that like every song you write helps you write the next one. Like I always believe that. And so um there's like it takes so many songs to like get to the heart of what you're trying to say and have that magic feel like the melody is like really serving what you're trying to say and production, all that. Just so much goes into making a song. And I just want people to know that like it's not it's not always easy, but it's so much fun and so worth it and it's awesome.
Hmm. This has been so wonderful. I truly can't thank you enough for
Gosh,
doing this, and I am like rooting for you all the way. Truly, like
you
fan to the
so
corner. I
much.
can't wait to just continue to follow your journey, and hopefully our paths can cross. Um,
Yes.
musical writing setting, but yeah.
Oh my gosh, well thank you so much and you're so cool and like you asked the best questions and like I'm just obsessed and this was so much fun and we're named twins and I love it.
Oh, yay.